Coming up on National Focus, DAPD holds 28th Annual General Meeting.
Dominica State College welcomes over 600 new students.
And Dominica is host to 10th OECS Credit Union Summit. Hello, I'm Fontaine. Welcome to National Focus.
And I'm Tarnia Green. Thank you so much for joining us.
Topping the headlines, plans are on the horizons for Dominica to ratify the UN's Convention for the Rights of Persons with Disabilities.
And Orientation Week begins at the Dominica State College.
Stay tuned as we bring you details of these stories and more when National Focus returns. First up on the news, the 10th OECS Credit Union Summit ended in Dominica last weekend. The two-day summit brought together representatives of credit unions from OECS states.
During the two-day event, which was hosted at the St. James Center of the Ross University School of Medicine in Portsmouth, members deliberated on issues affecting credit unions in the region. It also provided an opportunity for networking and the building of strategic partnerships among credit unions in the region.
GIS News spoke with President of the Dominica Cooperative Societies League, Cletus Joseph, on the final day of the summit.
We've had sessions on money laundering, anti-money laundering policies, which we have enacted in Dominica. This was the first session that we had, and it was very educational, enlightening, and we really saw that it is a new area, relatively new, that we have to do some work in that area, to perfect it, to suit us as an indigenous organization, a member-based organization. So it was a very interactive session.
Among other matters discussed at the two-day forum were the role of youth in the credit union movement, money laundering prevention, and the readiness of credit unions within the OECS for regional integration. Despite the current financial challenges facing countries across the globe, Joseph believes the future is bright for the credit union movement.
The principles upon which we are built may be even more relevant today than they were 150 years ago, when the movement more or less began and started exposing the principles. These principles. We have to look at the unique financial challenges that we have in this world today. I mean, for the past 5 years, as a matter of fact, from 2007 to 2008, one of the most recurring terms that has been used is the issue of the global economic crisis. And as credit unions, as cooperatives, we have thrived through that. We have succeeded in combating that crisis. So I think given the challenges ahead, we can really say that the principles are bright.
The theme for this year's Credit Union Summit was Cooperatives, the Engine of Growth in Tough Economic Times. More than 600 new students will begin studies at the Dominica State College in September. Management of the college hosted an orientation ceremony for the students on Monday at the Goodwill Parish Hall.
This is one of several activities planned throughout this week to welcome the students to the institution and to reassure them of the commitment of staff to the education of the young men and women who will walk through their doors. Meryl Matthew, who is the Dean of the Faculty of Education at the Dominica State College, chaired Monday's event.
Join us in scattering the sunshine and good cheer at our 3 campuses. Let the sunshine burn intensely in your hearts as together we empower you with tools for your future and build our college into the envy of the region.
Throughout Monday morning's ceremony, there were words of encouragement and advice to the new students as they begin their college experience.
Make the best of your experience at DSC. Share your knowledge and skills. Don't keep them to yourselves. Challenge your lecturers, yourself and your peers on a daily basis. Absorb everything, and above all, have fun.
There is reserved for all of you at the State College. All you have to do is work hard towards that A. I have gotten A's, my colleagues have gotten A's. I am working hard for a few more before I graduate, and there are still A's left over for you and even those still at high school.
Management is expected to use Orientation Week 2012 to dispel the myths associated with the college and to assure the new students that they have made the right decision.
I know you have heard many things about the Dominica State College, like the college is a waste of time. But these things are no more than common misconceptions or fallacies. The Dominica State College is committed to helping students develop the requisite knowledge and skills for success in their private lives, the public world of work, and their roles in a complex and ever-changing society.
We are committed to providing continual support to you in order to enhance and encourage your learning experience at the college.
College bursar Catherine Abraham has reassured the students that the investment in their education is one of the best decisions they will ever make.
Paying for education is not an expense. It is an investment in your future.
She added that the college offers the best quality education at the best affordable price. Despite the affordability of college education at the Dominica State College, meeting the tuition and other costs associated with college life has proven to be a challenge for some students. With that in mind, the college has teamed up with the National Bank of Dominica to introduce an educational loan product for students.
By doing that, we have a product called T-Cash, which is an educational loan that is going to allow you the funds to pay tuition, classes, exam, lab fees, whatever it is that you're going to need for the State College. This loan values from $3,000 to $8,000, and it will cater to whatever your needs may be.
Meantime, students have been encouraged to remain focused throughout their two-year studies at the DSC. That call came from Chairman of the Board of Governors, Brian Mead, as he addressed students on Monday.
Keep your eyes on the prize and don't give up. Remember, what you put inside of here, between your two ears, nobody can take from you. And you'll never, ever, ever stop learning.
The students who attended Monday's ceremony now know their responsibility and that of the management and staff of the college.
Our job here is to give you an education that is comparable to any education anywhere in the world. And we'll tell you about that later. And your job is to continue learning, to learn well, and to prepare yourself to lead this nation in the next 10 years or 5 years.
Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Honorable Peter St-Jean, in his address to the students, also sought to reassure them of the competence of staff at the Dominica State College.
Dominica State College has a committed faculty and staff who are consumed with a passion to transforming lives in this new dispensation.
Those gathered at Monday's event discovered that true talent exists at the Dominica State College.
I'll never give up, never give in, never let a ray of doubt slip in. And if I fall, I'll never fail, I'll just get up and try again.
We've heard it all before and everybody knows how to make it right. I wish we gave it one more try. Try one more try. Try one more try.
Orientation Week at the Dominica State College continues with seminars, registration, Parents' Day, and a social activity. The theme for this week's activities is empowering you with tools for your future. While Tarnia, 600 plus students have enrolled and over the next 2 years will be equipped with the necessary tools towards their future.
Yes, Pearl, indeed, and that is a great feat, you know. Over the years, the government has invested significantly in the education of Dominica's youth, and it's very encouraging to see that persons are enrolling at the Dominica State College to take advantage of the educational opportunities at that institution.
That's right. you know, the expansion of the college itself speaks volumes to government's commitment to the country's youth. This year alone, government has allocated the largest amount of funds to the Ministry of Education. So, you know, government is doing what they need to do to help our youth get on track.
Yes, yes, and we have to underscore the importance of that, because, you know, this fits in very well with government's policy, because we've been hearing the Prime Minister, the Minister of Education talking about government's policy, that of ensuring that one graduate is comes from every household by the year 2015.
That's right.
You know, so this is continued efforts by the government to ensure that all of our nation's people are well educated.
Absolutely. This new state-of-the-art college, when complete, will house 2,000 students comfortably. In other news, the Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities held their 28th annual general meeting on Monday. GIS's Jonna Hector was there and files this report.
Dominica's Persons with Disabilities gathered for their 28th annual general meeting at the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union Hall on Monday. The Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, DAPD, met under the theme A Barrier-Free Society through the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. The convention was adopted by the United Nations with an aim to end discriminatory practices and attitudes towards persons with disabilities. According to the UN Secretary General, there are over 650 million persons living with disabilities. President of the DAPD, Michael Murphy, described a barrier-free society as per the convention.
We would want not only persons with disabilities to join us in this move, but everyone, and we think that everyone in Dominica should have an interest in what happens to the disability movement. Because today you might be abled, tomorrow you could be disabled. There is no doubt about that. Some of us who acquired disabilities have had such an experience. We were able-bodied yesterday, today we are disabled, or we are living with a disability, as we say in the disability movement.
Murphy says the convention aspires to make the world more accessible to persons with disabilities.
There is a specific article in the conventions which deals with accessibility, access to public buildings, access to the physical environment, access to information, technology, access to justice, access to political participation. We need to have access to whatever other persons have access to. What the majority of persons have access to should be accorded to persons with disabilities.
According to the association's president, they have been campaigning to educate the public on disabilities while discussing with Cabinet the sanctioning of the UN's convention. Murphy announced to the meeting that moves are being made by Dominica's government to endorse the agreement.
It was on the 20th of June that we actually received formal notice from the government that the government was prepared now to go ahead with ratification. And we want, on behalf of the disability movement in Dominica and in fact the entire population, to thank the government for having accepted our request to have this convention ratified.
The DAPD expressed hopes that persons with disabilities on the island will be able to live fuller lives.
We will no longer be left stranded on the wayside as persons who are helpless and persons who are not able or capable to do anything for themselves. But we can assure the general population that we do in fact have capacity. We do in fact want access. We want access to education. We want access to health. We want access to the physical environment. We want access to the stadium that is built for the population of Dominica. We should not be marginalized. So with this, I trust that you will participate fully in your meeting, and at the end of the meeting, you will be satisfied that your association, your executive, has done and is doing a fairly decent job to uplift the standard of living of all persons with disabilities.
Next on the association's agenda is proper implementation and monitoring of the convention.
Thank you, Jana, for that report. In related news, the Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, the DAPD, is reporting that funding is needed for its administration to run the organization. Executive Director of the DAPD, Nathalie Murthy, further explained.
If you read our report for last year, you will realize that there was a shortfall in terms of being able to remunerate our staff. And that has been one of our major challenges for years. Because while we are able to access and source funding for specific projects, it is very, very difficult for us to acquire funds for administration and operational management. And so funds that are donated have to go to both administrative and, of course, projects, especially those that we raise locally.
At the group's 28th annual general meeting on Monday, it was announced that over $250,000 per year is required to manage the affairs of the association. Public servants were engaged in multiple sporting activities on Sunday at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. The Sports Festival and Family Fun Day was organized as part of Public Service Day activities 2012 as a means of encouraging sporting spirit and socialization among public servants.
Officers from various departments within the public service were involved in sporting activities such as cricket, rounders, football, and a number of races including lime and spoon and sack race. An aerobic display was done by members of the Public Service Exercise Group.
Back in July, the Public Service Day Games Committee hosted the indoor games on the ground floor of government headquarters.
Organizers are encouraged by the participation of public servants to both the indoor and outdoor games.
So far, I'm very pleased. At least I can say 60%. You know, I can say 60% because the response we got from the people, and so on, especially in the indoor games. They want us to have it at least every month or every 2 months. And we are not going to stop there. We are not going to wait for the next 2 years for Public Service Day to have another indoor game activity. Hopefully this year or come early next year, we're going to have another indoor game. In the outdoor games also, the response we get in, the people and them also interested in that, you know. So right now the feedback we're getting is very good.
A basketball tournament held on Saturday at the Lindo Park Sports Complex also formed part of the weekend sporting activities.
These activities are part of a series of activities culminating in the observance of Public Service Day, carded for December 7, 2012, which will be celebrated under the theme of Public Service Transforming, Modernizing, Positively Changing. And that's the English segment of the news. We now join McPherson St. Luce for the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à une nouvelle en créole. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, qui a fait parole qui gouvernement Dominique fait nomination Elon Williams pour position président Dominique. Honorable Skerritt fait parole ça le vendredi passé après session parlement qui était créé discuter nomination pour un monde remplacer président Liverpool. Williams c'est un ancien permanent secrétaire. Et puis, il aussi travaille en secteur public pour autant l'année. Speaker du Parlement, Honorable Alex Boyd Knight, fait parole qui nomination ouverte pour position salam jusqu'à 14 jours vendredi passé. Candidat qui tape plus vote qui tape position salam comme président neuf pour la Dominique. En notre nouvelle, State College Dominique tient cérémonie orientation aujourd'hui. Plus que 600 étudiants neufs qui ont opportunité pour attendre le collège qui est ouvert en septembre. Orientation ça qui a couru tout long semaine et puis différentes activités, cérémonie orientation salam qui était pour place en l'occasion Goodwill Parish Hall aujourd'hui. Et puis il était attendu par le ministre de l'Éducation Honorable Peter Saint-Jean, président State College Dr. Donald Peters, en parmi d'autres officiers. M. Merrill Matthews, c'est directeur des affaires éducation State College Dominique.
Aujourd'hui, nous avons plus de 500 étudiants neufs qui ont commencé le collège dans les ça. Et puis ça nous fait aujourd'hui, c'est mener monde important pour un collège là, pour parler avec eux, pour dire comment pour conduire là en collège. Puis ça nous les étudiants à faire, c'est pour eux faire bien un programme collège. Et puis c'est ça qui fait nous mener ces monde là pour parler des 3 points pour gouverner en collège.
En même temps aussi, Banque nationale Dominique a collaboré et puis State College Dominique faciliter étudiants taper loan NDO et puis éducation hors collège là.
Ça c'est un nouveau banque là et puis collège là parler. Puis tous les années, tous les semestres, nous avons des problèmes et puis les enfants qui passent à payer, et bien sûr parler payer. Quand ça collège là parler et puis banque NBD et puis ils ont décidé de créer un programme spécial pour ces étudiants ça trapper en petit loan. C'est ça qui veut dire créer un petit cash, un petit loan, petit l'argent. Et puis il n'y a pas besoin de planter, moun venir scier et puis biter comme ça. Comme ça c'est ça banque NBD qui a fait et puis Dominica State College pour les enfants trapper accès pour l'argent pour payer collège.
En notre nouvelle association Moun et puis Disabilité Dominique tient un grand meeting à aujourd'hui. Association là qui joint tous les l'année où là on a discuté et puis même à yo manier bagay qui marché et puis association là. Madame Nathalie Murphy c'est executive director association Moun et puis Disabilité Dominique.
Nous avons observé meeting ça là à Sofim là au Barrier Free Society. Through Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Tous les années, nous avons report pour MAMNU, ça nous fait pour l'année qui passée, avec nous aussi demandé support pour nous continuer service nous bayo en association là. Nous avons aussi une élection pour 3 personnes qui étaient exécutives là, avec nous avons parlé nous voulons parler de nous aussi pour dire nous ça qui a affecté ça yo pas aimé ça yo te voulait manger et c'est on compte nous battre nous comme ça nous a fait en association là et pour encourager yo pour continuer support association là payer l'argent yo ne possible pas payer et nous a toujours aussi dit merci pour monde qui supporte nous en année qui passée gouvernement, comme mon business, comme agency de l'autre pays, comme GIS, ça c'est les gens qui supportent nous. Et fait tout ça, nous qui avons raconté, même nous, aujourd'hui.
Et puis finalement, le ministère jeunesse, Honorable Justina Charles, qui a créé à ces jeunes pays là pour prendre l'avantage, plaisir, opportunité gouvernement qui a poussé le ministre Charles fait parole pendant la cérémonie, où il a appliqué 300 jeunesse d'état pour recognition au département GNS la semaine passée. Honorable Charles aussi fait parole que le gouvernement a créé autant d'opportunités par jeunesse, bagaille qui parti qu'a existé avant. Ministre Charles crée assisté jeunesse là pour mettre attention à ces bagailles positives et puis faire bagaille qui est bien bon en la vie à eux. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson, Luce. Au revoir.
Up next is a tip of the day.
Let your spirit take to flight. Let your heart run free and wild. Find your soul in Dominica, the nature isle.
In today's tip, we'll discuss the importance of grooming. No matter what your profession or occupation may be, whether you're a busy mother at home, caring for little ones,
or a lawyer, each of you experience insufficient time in the morning, especially when it comes to taking care of oneself.
So I encourage you, whatever your profession is, to take a few moments in the morning to become an attractive and neat person by following these steps below.
A well-tended, pretty hairdo that is neat and sensible for the job.
Clear eyes and nicely shaped brows.
Clean teeth, sweet mouth.
Don't forget the deodorant, no odor offense, please.
Outfit should be spick and span and free of lint, neatly pressed, practical and coordinated.
And that's National Focus. As usual, we invite your suggestions or comments.
Please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominican.gov.dm, or you can visit our website at news.gov.dm.
Or you can visit our GIS Dominica page on both YouTube and Facebook. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Pearl Fontaine.
And I'm Tarnia Green. Thank you so much for watching.
There's a point I want to share with you. They say there's nothing you can do about an earthquake. It's sudden. But there's something we can do. Having our family planning meeting in advance, just in case, to protect the children and the family.
So any moon can make quick, but when you're running, you must know where you're running to. Okay?
See me on Twambler an earthquake. You, your family, and your children, and everybody at home must know exactly what to do, where to go, where to run. And the other thing is that you must know your surroundings. Because in your pied, you can trip and fall and get hurt. Another secure place to go is under a table. Don't go under a glass table or a window or a door. It will break and shikaye and cut you. Go under a strong table. You want to see how you come in? Or you get it? But it's not just to drop, cover, and hold. And then you have your head in your leg and you cover your head and you cover your eyes and Felix, tell them.
And yes, drop, cover, and hold. But only Pusav Kumankai Labati know your surroundings, where it is safe in the house.
And one thing to remember, if an earthquake happens, you must find a secure place. And your bathroom is a secure place, a sure place. Because the smaller the place, the more secure you are. So remember that.
And under a potager, the dresser is a very good place to hide.
I agree.
The closet, where you have all those old jackets and those kiang, all the shoes, is a very good place, it's a safe place. The closet.
That's a good idea.
And the bookshelf, n'importe place comme ça qui s'est tombé à saut. Stay away.
A message from the Office of Disaster Management in Dominica.
Let your spirit take to flight. Let your heart run free and wild. Find your soul in Dominica, the nature isle.
Together we build, together we strive. We see it all on your Government Information Service, Channel 7. This is the Government Information Service, bringing you all that you need to know about all that's happening in your country's development. GIS, you and your channel.